I'm Tanya and welcome to my channel. This class is going to be yoga for a lazy day. So every once in a while I'm fortunate enough to have a really lazy day and I get to sit around and binge watch something all day long. But I find those days, by the end of the day, I'm really sore and tight and need to move just a little bit, but I generally don't want to work too hard. So that's what this class is for. So anytime that you are fortunate enough and blessed enough to have one of those lazy days but want to move just a bit, you can sneak this video in and it'll help you enjoy your day but not to get too stiff or sore by the end of the day. Like most of my classes, this is going to be a hands and wrist friendly class. We are going to do one tabletop pose, which sometimes can put a little too much strain on people with any sort of hand or wrist injury. But I find for most of us, we can do fist for wrist and use your fist instead of a hand flexed on the ground, and a lot of times that will take enough tension off to make that safe for you. If that is still too much, you can use your blocks and come down onto your forearms instead. So that's an option for you. The blocks would be helpful to have for that option, and also we're going to do some low lunges and some half splits. And I always enjoy doing those with blocks. I like just a little bit of support with them. So if you have blocks and want to grab them, go ahead and get those ready. Otherwise, you shouldn't need anything else, so you can join me on your mat in a child's pose, and we'll get started. All right, so child's pose with your toes together, knees can be nice and wide, and let's go ahead and crawl our hands forward towards the front of the mat. If you want to kind of like shimmy your hips just a little bit to get started, you can do that. And then after that, find a little bit of stillness. So maybe bring your forehead down onto the ground. We'll take a few solid breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. And again, in and out. Here, maybe crawl your hands just a smidgen more forward, lengthen the spine. Think about sending the tailbone back and take 2 more breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. All right, from here you can walk your hands in a little bit, and we're going to come up and find a tabletop pose. So you can step the knees together, so knees can be directly under hips. So hands can be flat on the ground, or you can take this option of the fist for wrist. We'll take some cat-cows here. So inhale, drop your chest and your tailbone up, look up, and then exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin. Draw the back of your ribs up towards the ceiling. Inhale, cow pose. Think about spreading the sits bones a bit, opening the chest. Exhale, round the spine and tuck the chin. Well, we'll continue here for a few more. So if there's any additional movements that would feel good, you're welcome to take those. Sometimes I enjoy taking like a big barrel roll, moving my chest around from side to side instead of just up and down. And then another option is just to move from side to side, kind of like a snake. Just moving here with your breath. Let's take, after this, wherever you're at, one more cat-cow just to clear it out. Inhaling and exhaling. And then we'll all lay back on a nice solid tabletop. So engage your core, lengthen through your spine, press away from the ground, and then we're going to move into a thread the needle. So we'll start by sending our right arm up to the sky, reaching up, and then exhale, thread it through. So you're bringing your right shoulder down towards the ground. You can come onto your left fingertips. All right, you can stay here just like this, or you can extend your left leg out to the side and kind of shift it down so that the ball of your foot is on the mat, and then maybe even reach to lasso this left big toe. Stay here, send this left arm up to the sky, and we'll breathe here. Inhaling and exhaling for 3, 2, 1. Release this arm, bring your left hand down to the ground, reach up, send this right arm up to the sky again, and then right hand back down to the ground. And left knee comes down. So back to this tabletop pose. We're going to take one cat-cow here again. So inhale, drop the chest, look up, tailbone up. And exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. Come back to a nice neutral tabletop again. And then other side. So left hand reaches up towards the sky first. And then exhale, thread the needle. So left shoulder can come down onto the ground. Try to keep the hips neutral. So bump the hips over to the left a bit. Stay here. If you like that leg add on, you can extend your right leg out to the side. Reach forward and lasso that left big toe. Stay here. Our last add-on is right arm up to the ceiling. Breathing here. Nice and intentionally. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Release this right hand back down to the ground. Unwind. Back to a tabletop. Right knee comes back down. Once more, cat-cow. Inhale, drop the chest, look up. And then exhale, round the spine, curl under. All right, back to a flat back. From here, we're gonna come down onto our forearms for a forearm plank. If you would rather do a full plank, that's fine as well. Otherwise, forearms down to the ground, extend your legs long behind you. Find your nice solid plank pose here. So think about pressing into the ground, broadening across the back of the shoulders. Heels are lifted up high. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, release your hips down towards the ground with control. Release the toes. And then just broaden across the chest. One more breath. Let it go. And then you can release your hand and come all the way down onto your chest. And we're going to bring our fingertips to the ground, just kind of in line with our shoulders, but a little bit wider than our mat. I'm going to take some cobra breath. So lift your elbows up towards the sky. With an inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, release back down. So think like you're trying to peel yourself up off the ground here. So moving nice and slowly. And then back down. And I just have my fingertips on the ground, not putting too much pressure on them. And then release back down. Last one, inhaling and exhaling. All right, from here, we're going to move back into that forearm plank. So bring your forearms back down to the ground. They can either be down like the number 11 or interlaced. Curl your toes under and then press into your legs, lift your hips. And then from here, walk your hips up, walk your legs in a little dolphin pose. You can bend your knees. And if you would prefer to take a down dog, that's fine as well. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then we're going to make our way into a low lunge. So we're going to lift our right leg up towards the sky. And then if you want to, you can come down onto your left knee to help you. And then bring our right foot forward, low lunge. If you want to have blocks, you can grab those. You can put your blocks on any height. Think about lengthening your chest up and then sending your hips forward. So really getting nice, deep stretch on this left hip flexor. Look down at your right foot. If your foot is in too much, it can put a little bit of strain on your ankle. So you can crawl it forward to make sure your knee isn't past that ankle. You can stay here like this. You can bring your hands up to your thigh if you'd like to. Or if you want a little more, you can even bring your arms up overhead. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can release your hands down, grab your blocks, walk them back as you shift your weight back. We're going to find a half split. So flex your front foot, right foot. Blocks can be on any height. Think about lengthening your spine, so nice and long through the spine, and then lower a little bit. Now, staying here, you're going to keep your right foot flexed, and then just opening up, pivoting at the hip joint. Open your pinky toes over to the right, and then back up. And then open the toes to the right again, and then back up. And then once more, open to the right, and then back up. We'll stay here a few more breaths. So make sure we're not dropping down into our shoulders. So our arms are down. They can be on blocks or they cannot. But you want to keep the spine nice and long and then just hinge forward. Last breath here. And then flexing the keeping this right foot flexed. Open the toes to the side again. And then you're going to walk your hands off over to the right side. So left hand's going to come up and around over this outside of the right leg and stay here. And you'll feel this stretch in a little bit different of a spot on your leg, maybe even into the IT band a bit. Last breath. And then unwind, left hand comes back over, lift the toes back up to center, and then shift your weight forward, and we're gonna find a pigeon pose. So you can take your blocks off to the side, and then just tick-tock this right foot over to the left side of the mat. You wanna be excellently rotating this right leg at the hip joint. Now, if your right hip does not come down to the ground, you wanna support yourself with something here. So it can be a block, you can grab a pillow or a cushion or whatever you want. There's two ways to do it. So traditionally, people like to put a block up under their right kind of hip area, since we're on our right side. So that's option one. Another option is to actually put it back under the back leg, under the thigh, okay? So whatever you're doing, you just wanna make sure that you're nice and supported. So if you're on the ground, you don't need anything. But when we're hanging in our joints, if our joints aren't all the way on the ground, if our joints aren't all the way on the ground, that can create some hanging in the joints, which really puts a little bit of stress on the joints and does not give your muscles the stretch that you're looking for. All right, wherever you're at, left leg is nice and long behind you. You can feel like a little bit of internal rotation, so the top of the knee and top of the foot is on the mat. You can stay here, or you can come down onto your forearms if you'd like to. A few more breaths here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, lift your chest back up. Shift your weight onto this right leg a little bit more, and you're going to swing this back left leg up and around and across the right. So you can pull this right foot in towards your glute, lengthen up nice and tall, and then we're going to take a twist. So gather this right leg into your body and twist around behind you. Fingertips can come down. You want to think about lengthening up nice and tall and then twisting kind of along the axis of your spine. Breathing here. For 3, 2, 1. All right, from here, unwind back through the center. Uncross your legs, and we're just going to take a boat pose between sides. So sit up nice and tall, legs can be bent. It doesn't have to be your biggest boat ever. This is yoga for a lazy day. All right, and then crossing your ankles, come onto your feet. You're going to lean forward on those forearms, and then just step your legs back. If you would prefer to do a full down dog, that's fine as well. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale, let it go. Other side. So you can step this right leg in a little bit. Left leg comes up, three-legged dog. And then coming down onto your right knee as you step this left foot forward, we're going to find that low lunge. So you can use your blocks if you'd like to. Shift yourself around, make any adjustments that you need to. You want to make sure that this foot is in front of the knee. Shift the hips forward. Keep the spine long. Find whatever placement that you need to so that you've got this nice deep stretch on this right hip flexor. Breathing here. You can stay here, or you can bring your hands up to your quads. Or if you'd like to, arms overhead. So palms facing each other, shoulders drawing down the back. So shoulders are in their home, nice neutral neck. For 3, 2, 1. From here, hands can grab those blocks, shift your weight back, half split. So hips come back over the right knee, flex your left foot, draw this left hip back. Blocks can come to any height. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hinge forward just a little bit. So you're folding only as far down as you can go and not lose the integrity of the pose here. So we don't want to be rounding yourself down. You want to keep this nice long stretch along the hamstring. Flex your left foot and then open the toes out to the left and then back to center. And again, open to the left and back to center. And once more, open to the left, back to center. And now we'll hold here. Make sure that you're not dumping down into these shoulders. So spine is long. You need to lower the blocks a little bit so that you're not doing that. You're more than welcome to. All right, and then keeping this foot flexed, open these toes to the side again, and then we're gonna add this walk around. So both hands come to the outside of this left leg, and then add a little bit more of a twist, and just see how it feels a little bit different. Feel it a little further up in my glute as well. For 3, 2, 1. From here, walking the hands back forward, one on either side of your left leg. Shift your weight forward, and then we're making our way into that pigeon pose. So you can move your block to the side, tick-tock this left foot all the way over to the right side of the mat, externally rotate, right leg is long behind you. So again, if you're not seated on the mat nice and securely, you can use your block. So block can go either under this left hip, or you can put it under the front of the right thigh. Okay? Wherever you're at, just make sure that you're nice and supported. Right leg is nice and long behind you. Make sure you're not sickling that foot. So sometimes in pigeon pose, we have a tendency to sickle that foot off to the side. So keep it nice and long. Spine is long and straight. A few more breaths here. And then if you'd like to, you can come down into your forearms. Breathing here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, roll your weight onto this left hip a little bit, and then swing this right leg up and around and across the left. So foot's on the ground. You can pull this left foot in towards your glute a bit, lengthen up, and then we're gonna add a twist. So gather the right leg in towards your body, and then twist to the right. Right fingertips can come to the ground behind you. Gaze behind. Breathing here. So think about twisting along the spine, so there's no leaning here, it's just twisting. Last breath. Then unwind back through center. Uncross your legs. Find that nice tripod seat between the sits bone and the tailbone. And then lift the legs up, boat pose. Breathing here in your boat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Squeeze the knees in towards your chest, and then just rock and roll. Give your spine a little massage. So a couple of rocks here. Generally think 3 feels good. If you want a few more or a few less, that's fine. And then we're gonna land on our backs. We're gonna get set up for bridge pose. So feet are parallel. So outside of feet is parallel to the long ends of your mat. Think about finding a nice long, solid, supportive spine first, and then hands down by your side. So press your feet into the ground, knees stay pointing up towards the sky, lift the hips all the way up. So front body muscles lift you up. Once you're up, back body muscles engage to support you. Keep your chin lifted. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower back down. Take a breath. If you want to, you can windshield wiper your legs from side to side. And again, from side to side. All right, we're gonna do that once more. So getting set up again, so feet parallel, knees facing the ceiling, spine is nice and long, arms down by your side. Take a breath, and then lift yourself up. Front body lifts, back body supports. You can walk the shoulders in a little bit, or arms in a little bit underneath you. If you want to interlace your hands behind your bum, you can. And then we're gonna be out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that. And again, windshield wiper the legs from side to side and from side to side. All right, I'm gonna do a twist to each side and then a waterfall, and then that's gonna be about it. So similar position, but just walk your feet up nice and wide towards the sides of the mat. And then you're gonna start by laying your knees down over to the left. Stay here or float your left leg up. Put your left foot on top of your right thigh and give yourself a little nice self-assist here. And arms can come outside or to cactus arms. Breathe in here. You really can release tension in your waist and your hip, and when you do that, the self-assist with the pressure of this left foot is going to lengthen the side of your leg here. It should feel pretty good. 2 more breaths. All right, with control, release this left foot out to the ground. Bring your knees up towards the sky. Take a breath between sides. Inhale and exhale. And I just did this, but I didn't cue it. You need to kind of lift your hips and scoop your tailbone out so that your lower back is back on the ground again. You can do that. All right, other side. So feet wide like the side of the mat, and then lay the knees over to the left. Stay here or float this right leg out. Put your right foot on top of your left thigh. And then relax. Again, arms to a T or a cactus. Take a couple of breaths here. And after you've been here for a few breaths, see if you can really release this left area. So left hip flexor, left glute, left core, and then just allow the pressure of your right ankle to really lengthen that left side of your body. For 3, 2, 1. All right, release this right leg off and down the side. Lift your knees back up to the sky, and then you can lift your hips, scoop your tailbone down, and come back onto your back. Let's take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. All right, and then grab your block. Mine's up at the front of the mat. And end with a waterfall pose. So you can lift your hips, put your hips up on the block, and then just extend your feet up towards the sky, flex your feet. If you don't have blocks, you can just stay on the ground with your legs overhead and your feet flexed, but the block just helps to get your hips elevated over your heart a little bit. So traditionally this pose, waterfall pose, has flexed feet. I think it feels good to alternate through and pedal my feet out. So I'll point one and flex the other, and then I'll just switch, kind of like I'm just pedaling through water here. I think it feels good. Any other movements or anything else that would feel natural for you to do here is perfect. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From now, or from here, you can bend your knees, bring your feet down towards the ground, lift your hips, remove your block, and then make your way into your Shavasana. So extend your legs long towards the corners of your mat. Arms can be nice and wide. If you'd rather take Shavasana on your side or your belly or seated, that's totally fine. And then let's just do a little scan of your body. So starting with your head, moving down to your shoulders. Find any areas of tension, you can just release that. Moving through your arms, and into your chest, your belly, your lower back, your hips and your glutes, your upper legs, your lower legs, and each of your toes. Take a nice deep breath in, and exhale, release. Inhale, nice and soothing. Exhale, relaxing. And please take several more minutes and enjoy a nice Shavasana. And I hope that you move just enough so that you can continue to enjoy your lazy day. Until next time, bye.